Alright, so this video might be, it already looks a lot better than my old phone. Just recently was able to make this phone work with my Google account, whatever. Actually, might be speaking too soon. We will find out when I go to upload this video. So, I made, I think, a new cross slide since the last time I made a video. This thing looks real simple, but yeah, it will be a lathe eventually. There's gonna be, somebody was talking about how it might not be strong. It might not be, but we'll see. I'm gonna make like a bottom frame that can, and those things, those aren't permanent. That's not how it's gonna look. Those aren't even bolted on. Those aren't even welded on or anything. They're bolted on with they're self-tapered on actually. But it's just kind of here on this table for building purposes. I got the motor wired up on a switch. Yeah. This came in the mail a few days ago. I ordered this used. Someone's calling me. I think the video, yeah, we're good. But yeah, this headstock is kind of a temporary thing to get me to a point where I can actually turn a piece of, I plan on getting like a big heavy duty pipe fitting and then turning the inside of it for the tapered roller bearings that I have in here, because these bearing, the way I made these bearing holders, they're not the best. I'm going to reinforce them and they will be strong enough, I think, to turn steel. Thing's gonna ring like a bell, I feel like, if I don't do anything about that. The headstock bolts on right now for shimming purposes, and also I could potentially scrape the base of this to correct any, or grind even the base of it to correct any a little bit of misalignment, so I don't have to shim so much. As of right now though, it's not shimmed at all, and I ran, because this carriage moves, it all works. You hook a drill up to this thing and you get some power feed and it's good enough. Probably make some nice cuts too with it because it's such a low ratio with the drill in there, and also with that nut that's part of it. And then also you can put I have a crank handle that just threads into there. That works great. But I put an indicator on this and ran it back and forth on a shaft, and it was pretty damn good. Even when I spun the shaft, so what I did was this is a 3-jaw, so I put the shaft in and kind of whacked it in until the shaft itself indicated straight while it was spinning, and then I ran back and forth on it. So I knew the shaft was as concentric as I could get it with the axis here. And yeah, I lucked out a lot with this situation here. This piece of shaft threads into this spindle here, and that's how I'm powering it right now. I'm thinking about pinning this or something, maybe cut a slot into this, and then threading a pin into the shaft or something. But yeah, you can see the situation I got in the back with the motor. I'm pretty sure I made videos about all this, but it was crappy videos. This motor can move this way and side to side on that shaft down there, and go side to side that way, so I can shift gears. I plan on having more to this. This is a small motor, so I will need, the other motors I have are both 3600 RPM motors, and that's a 17 something. So when I put that motor on, I'm going to have to half the RPM, so I'll have the other of this to the other step pulley, and then from that to this, and then it'll give me more gear ratios, I think. Or maybe I get this to a big step pulley if I can find one. Whatever. This to a big pulley, and then small to big again, whatever I gotta do. And then I would like to have some sort of geared power feed that comes off of this, and because this is a threaded rod under there, so I just have to come down and spin this rod that goes the entire length of underneath. That is hooked in down there. It's bolted together. It does come apart. It is fairly strong. Probably have to reinforce it a lot, but it does work. These two bolts are I think I'm going to use these as the locks, and then those as the gib kind of thing. We'll see. I might do it the opposite way, put some levers on those, or maybe even make them both big threads and just have a bunch of locks and use two as the gib and two as the lock. And then those threads down there, obviously you can adjust the tension on this. I don't know how good this is gonna work, but it seems to be doing good right now. I've used this and stood on this carriage and had it like just kind of slide me back and forth a bunch of times, and those aluminum pieces did not wear. I need something there to actually make it ride just on these corners, because these corners are the only straight part of this piece of channel iron. So if I tried to like lay something flat on here, it's all sorts of, it's a freaking mountainous valley. Yeah, this whole thing comes apart, and what's nice about this is not a reverse thread, but I'm still able to turn it right and move it in towards the chuck, and move it left, move it out away from the chuck. Obviously that's a piece of wood. This came like this with this little slotted things, and there's like 1/2 inch gaps there, I want to say, so I could use, I have this, I don't think I'm going to use this, but I have this right now to get the point across. I have a bunch of this high-speed steel stuff, and this is the right thickness to go in there and be clamped on. So if I had like 2 rails for that to slide forward and back on, I can adjust the tool position relative to the cross slide. Obviously I don't have a compound right now, and also obviously so this is plated here. You can see this plate is bolted to the carriage, so this is 1/2 inch plate on top of this 1/8 inch plate, which is on top of 1/4 inch. These are 1/4 inch angle irons, and that's what actually squeezes it together, and these 1/4 inch angle irons are bolted through everything so that it's like, yeah, I want to minimally weld the key components together. So, oh, my hand's in the way, that's dumb. Yeah, I want to minimally weld the key components together so that there's no warpage. Yeah, you can see where the motor mount hooks on right there, and then here, just in case in the future the motor mount has to come out further, that's there. This is all just rough cut there. Oh, there are shims in there, aren't there? Those shims are in the center to take up that space. I think that's what those are for, too, because the 2 channels both